We are live 364 days a year.
What are we doing here?
If Dom turns at SummerSlam, I'm shaving my moustache off. I told you, if that happens, it's going. My lip is cold because of a stupid bet that I made with YouTube.
Oh, good.
Wrestle's better than Daniel Bryan Daniels. Better than Okada.
How do you not get sushi after Monday Night Raw?
Welcome to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, a show where a rotating cast of wrestling fans from around the world come and share and debate their opinions, with live comments from all of you shown throughout, as after all, fans are what makes wrestling so special. So sit back, grab a beverage and enjoy the show. Good evening from Swansea, South Wales, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, and we have a really exciting show for you guys today, and I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit of a debate, because right now the IWC is up in arms. What has been better this year? All Elite Wrestling or WWE? We'll be talking that and an awful lot more, but before we do, let me introduce today's panel, and let's kick things off with Shad Talks Graps. How are you, Shad?
What's going on, Ben? It's your boy Shad Talks Graps, and I am back with another installment of the Wrestling Republic podcast. I'm excited for today, man. We are counting down the days to Christmas. We're also counting down the days for 2025 to be completely done. And I'm excited to talk about that first topic because, like you said, it is going to be a controversial one.
It absolutely will be. There is no doubt about that. We got Fernando in the chat. Kay the Great, Eddie Walker. Shout out to all of you, but also shout out to our third panelist today, Ant University. How are you, Ant?
Man, what's going on, everybody? It's a great day. Just got the notification that my 4 o'clock meeting got canceled for today, so I can start my weekend early. Let's have a great show, guys. I'm happy now, and nothing else can ruin today.
That is the best way to end a Friday. An early finish. Ideal. We got Davis in the chat. Shout out to you and happy holidays. And later on in today's show, by the way, we are also going to be doing another Mount Rushmore. You guys might be thinking, hang on, it's a Friday. Why are we doing another one? Well, we're doing them for 2 reasons, right? The first one being that if you haven't seen Wednesday's show, there was a little bit of technical difficulties, and Shad and Ant U both tried to join to do the Mount Rushmore segment and help out. In the end, they were not needed, but today they're going to get an opportunity to do Mount Rushmore, but also because Zach Minger isn't in the comments. The guy who always comments what day it is isn't in the comment section. But it is National Underdog Day, so we are going to be ranking our best underdogs. So without further ado, let's get into the show and let's kick things off, because Sports Illustrated have named AEW the best promotion of the year, and WWE fans are up in absolute arms about this. The tribalism in the internet wrestling community is insane right now, but I do have to say, guys, I actually don't disagree with this at all. I do think AEW has been the better promotion this year. WWE there's been a lot of positives. There have been some great stuff, but they have overpromised and underdelivered, whereas AEW have underpromised compared to recent years and overdelivered. But Shad, I want to get your thoughts.
So let me preface this by first and foremost saying wrestling is opinionated. Everyone is subjective to their own 2 cents on this topic. Some may like one thing more than the other. Us as podcasters, we objectively talk about this in a very analytical way. We are not being paid by either company. Don't come for my head. I see what y'all was doing online. I saw a couple lists drop and people was trying to say such and such pay. Nope. It's not the truth.
Someone
okay.
is at the front door.
I haven't seen my check come in yet, Tony Khan, so I have to say that first. With that being said, if I had to pick between both companies, I would say I may lean towards AEW off of a lot what you just said, Ben. And it's a lot of the aspect of over delivering when it seemed like it was more of a, transitional year in a way, kind of a revamp year, trying to pick up the sticks, arguably getting blown out the water the year before the WWE, after WWE had a very strong 2024 going into the Mania 40 season. And it kind of felt like AEW, with venue wise, a lot of production stuff, they kind of had to regroup. And I thought overall, a lot of good stories being told, a lot of great pay-per-views being had, incredible matches, incredible moments. I think cohesively they had a very, very good year overall. And there isn't a lot of stuff that I hated. There's little things that you can argue and you can kind of go towards, but there wasn't anything I hated. On the WWE side of things, I think, like you mentioned, we had high hopes. You're coming off of Mania 40, right? Expectations are through the roof. This is the new TKO era. There's a lot of exciting business ventures that are coming in, a lot of new partnerships with Netflix. And to me, a lot of things kind of just felt a little flat. And sometimes maybe it's one of those things where maybe my expectations were a little bit high, but I do think on the storytelling aspect, I feel like they were a little bit weaker this year compared to what they have done in previous years. I think match quality, I don't think there's a lot of, oh my gosh, like 5-star type of matches compared to what we had the year before. Of course there are some, but and then just the overall product on the weekly basis, I feel like the TV product has kind of took a bit of a dip. So to that, obviously everything with John Cena, that was a big reason for what they were doing. So to me, I feel like, yeah, WWE kind of did a bit less than we expected them to do. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think either company had a remarkable year in 2025. I think this year kind of has been the year of the other promotions, right? I think CMLL has had a phenomenal year this year. From the ticket prices to the matches to everything, like they're just knocking it out the roof. The companies that WWE is working with, AAA kind of benefiting it, TNA benefiting with it, New Japan having a great year, Stardom having a great year. And I just want to make that evident. I know that's not part of the topic, but to me, it's a beautiful thing in a way that these companies did not have great years, because it opened the eyes for you guys to kind of see all of pro wrestling and see these other promotions that may be adjacent to working with these companies like WWE and AEW, but they are their own promotions at the end of the day, the independent scene. So to me, it felt like a year of the underdogs, where you saw more of the smaller based companies kind of pick up steam and really allow wrestling fans to enjoy something, just because the two companies that we know the most because they have the most exposure not being at the top of their game.
Honestly, Shad, I absolutely love what you said there. I really do, because you are right. CMLL and tons of other companies have had a great year. There is a comment here from Donnie that I do want to quickly explain my reasoning for, because like I said, I felt AEW underpromised and over-delivered, whereas WWE did the opposite. And the reason that I say that is, in previous years, I have consistently criticized Tony Khan for over-promising and under-delivering. But over the last, not just this year actually, but last year too, he's kind of taken a step back and he stopped doing that as much. And because of that, I mean, it's kind of felt like there's less expectations, but then they do deliver. Whereas Paul Levesque, Triple H, has done the exact opposite this year. This man is consistently, I think he said new era in 14 different interviews this year, all throughout the year. He keeps claiming a new era is going to start.
It's the Tony Khan announcement trope, but it is new era trope, right?
It's ridiculous. And he keeps saying this is going to be the best thing we've ever done, the best thing we've ever done. And yes, of course, you're trying to sell shows. I understand that. But then it's got to be that level. It can't then be under-delivering, and it's happened on too many occasions. So that's what I mean by that. Essentially, Triple H is doing the exact thing which Tony Khan was doing 2 years ago, and everybody criticized him for then. But Ant U, I want to get your take on this. Did AEW have a better year than WWE?
Oh,
I think we've got some technical difficulties for a second, guys. But Yeah, I mean, I read a couple more comments as well because Hypnotic Gene says, I haven't watched WWE since 2016, so I can't judge. K the Great says AEW has had a mid-year too, but WWE has sucked. And Eddie Walker says easily AEW. And Donnie says that both companies have shot themselves in the foot repeatedly. But Ant U, what's your take?
Okay, so I think once again, we can look at this as fans, or we can look at this in the business sense. And I think right now, I'm going to look at this in a business sense and break it down that way. So I feel that when it comes to PLEs, pay-per-views, whatever it is, AEW has always put on great pay-per-views. They have, 14, 15 matches per show. You're going to get 5 hours. You're going to get your money's worth when it comes to an AEW pay-per-view. And they're going to put on great matches. I feel like WWE has tried to go with this quality over quantity with 5 matches. And they have not been hitting the mark. You'll get one really, really great match. I felt like the best PLE that WWE put on all year was Women's Evolution 2. Followed by WrestleMania 40. But other than that, man, like there's been good moments, but not great whole shows. I feel like when it comes to AEW, 9 times out of 10, their pay-per-views from start to finish are going to be really, really good. You'll have an occasional dud, but it's not. You don't have as many time to go get a soda matches or time to go to the bathroom match. You can step away from an AEW show and you're going to miss something amazing. When it comes to revenue, WWE definitely wins that. WWE is making money hand over fist. As much as people complain about it, they are still selling out arenas. They are still having people show up, buy the merch, and all that good stuff. When you look at international appeal, once again, I believe WWE beats AEW there, just because, and it's no fault of AEW, they're just not as established overseas yet as WWE is. They have the national talent that they can put out for everyone, and it's growing. So don't get me wrong, AEW is growing immensely daily. But as of this year, WWE is still winning there. So I have to say, everyone wants to take out the juggernaut. Everyone wants to see the little guy win, and it's just not there yet. I believe WWE still had a better year. Their product wasn't as good as AEW's pay-per-views, but I think on a weekly basis, WWE delivered a little bit more with the help of like the Judgment Day saga and stuff like that. So that's how I feel about that. I think by next year, maybe in 2 years, I'll have a different outlook on this. But as of this year, I got to give it to WWE.
I'm absolutely stunned at that, especially the pay-per-view part, because like Fernando says, I agree. To me, AEW pay-per-views have knocked the WWE ones out of the water.
I said that.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood you. Ignore me. Completely ignore me there. I misunderstood.
It's not, but hold up. I'll say this though to rebuttal your statement, right? I don't think it's fair for us to compare and contrast on the financial aspect, because WWE is a ready, set commodity. It's like McDonald's is going to always make more than a local mom and pop, burger spot, right? But they don't mean McDonald's is better quality than the mom and pop burger spot.
That's true.
I mean, once again, I said AEW's pay-per-views have blown WWE's out of the water. I said I think the Women's Revolution was the best WWE pay-per-view we got. But when you put the whole picture together, I mean, we can look at different aspects of the picture, and of course, you'll be able to say this one's better, this one's better. But I think when you put the whole picture together, when you put the whole puzzle together, it's hard to knock the giant off. They are on the way. in the next year or two, I could see it happening. But if we're going to talk about this year, I believe WWE still, for me, was better than AEW.
It's 100% subjective to your point. Yeah, it is subjective. There's no right and wrong answer here. What I will say, though, is it kind of felt like up until 2022, ever since AEW started in 2019, that WWE was essentially knocking it out of the water. Sorry, the AEW was knocking WWE out of the water every single year. And then it got to 2022, Triple H took over, and it kind of like flipped, especially with the CM Punk stuff and all of that narrative as well. But now, to me, this year, it's kind of felt like another turning point again. So I'm sure it will turn back again, but it's interesting.
You know what? Because I have to give Tony Khan a lot of respect in how he's handling it. I think prior to that point, personality-wise, he was a lot more what's the word? His reactions were a lot more hostile, right? He was saying a lot of things that probably would regret saying. And at the end of the day, he was shooting up. He was trying to go to war with them. And like you mentioned, it's like salute to Clark, right? That statement he always says, the cool kids, right? The new kids on the block, whatever he always says, right? AEW came in with that something different, a legitimate alternative, and going against WWE at its weakest time frame booking wise at the end of the Vince McMahon era. And then you mentioned WWE rejuvenated. Vince gets out of creative, out of the head booking chair, and it's a breath of fresh air. It's someone that wrestling fans love. It's somebody, honestly, whether you want to give him praise, whether you want to give him criticism, a lot of what AEW to me is a lot of what Triple H was booking in Black and Gold NXT. Like, it felt very similar to that, right? So people were excited about that. He came in and now gave the grace period's done. Now people are more critical. I think the John Cena retirement tour probably affected how people's perceptions of Triple H is more than anything now. Like, how the fact that people were just not happy about how it went collectively throughout the entire year and the ending. And now it's going to be very intriguing to see how he does next year. Because if his booking is not good and it really affects the financial aspect, what TKO could get somebody else.
Easily. It's an actual possibility that people aren't discussing. I mean, he is essentially a manager of a sports team now, right? He can be replaced. I don't think it's going to happen, but he could if he does mess it up. Now, Donnie's got an interesting point I want to very quickly touch upon, and then I'll go back to you, Ant U. But he says, why does everyone think it's not fair to compare the two? If a new drama launched 6 years ago and had similar metrics, it would have been cancelled. Logan Paul took down Gatorade. I mean, first things first, I don't think if a new TV drama launched and had the views AEW does, it would be cancelled. Because all the new dramas on that very network since then have underperformed to AEW. So I don't think that would be the point. But also, to be fair as well, Logan Paul took down Gatorade for 1 month. They beat them for 1 month. And then, since then, Gatorade has now absolutely dominated them. Prime has been down 70% year on year this year. A crazy amount. They had that new hype thing, right? But that doesn't mean long-lasting success. But I think you can compare the two, though. But Fernando says Triple H has been fumbling all year. It's not just one thing. I mean, Ant U, what do you think about that?
Yeah, man. So the way I look at it, and I don't care. I want AEW to continue to do better, because better, the better AEW does, the better WWE is going to have to do.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like this year WWE rested on its laurels just a little bit, because it is a juggernaut. And hopefully, with everyone saying, with everyone talking the way we've been talking, and it puts a little pressure on them. It puts a little pressure on them to look at the product that they're giving us, to look at how everything's going, and switch it up a little bit. I feel like, I feel like WWE is chasing AEW instead of not worrying about AEW and putting on their own shows. And I say that because the counter programming, the little like WrestlePalooza just being pulled out of a hat from nowhere. Like you do stuff like that, it makes you look a little weak.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge WWE fan, and I can acknowledge this, and I see this. So I think what WWE is going to have to do is they're just going to have to not worry about it. They're going to have to get back to going, let's just put on great shows and focus on that. Because if you worry about what the left hand's doing, the right hand is always going to come up and smack you in the face.
That is a great point. And up next, we are going to talk about one of AEW's negatives, in my opinion, this year, and that is Mercedes Moné's TBS Championship reign. I think there is a case for Mercedes Moné being Women's Wrestler of the Year. I'm a big fan of Mercedes Moné. I think the critics of her treat her unfairly. With that being said, this TBS Championship run this year has been booked absolutely diabolically. This championship doesn't matter anymore. It's a piece of toilet paper. I don't understand how from late last year this title felt so important, but since then, I mean, we've even had a feud for this title in the second half of the year. That is absolutely insane. It's not Moné's fault, it's the booking's fault. And I don't even think it's the fault of her holding so many other titles. It's the fact there's no stories for her on AEW Dynamite for it. That's the issue. And of course, she was feuding with Tony for a while, but that shouldn't have taken 6 months, and it didn't take 6 months. They've just not really done any proper feuds with that title. Shad, I'm really frustrated about it, and you know I'm a big Mercedes Moné fan.
So my thoughts are about, I align with what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree that it means nothing. It's like toilet paper. I think Mercedes Moné's character, the merit that she has holding all these belts is valuable, and someone beating her for the title will, in fact, put that person over. We just saw it happen with Red Velvet. This belt means more than that ROH title. She's held it longer, and it is the same superstar, the same bad guy that has kind of culminated that you want to see lose. So I don't agree with you on that, but I do agree with you on the booking standpoint. And to me, this is a deep-rooted issue with women's wrestling booking on AEW. And I gave them a lot of credit. They got better in the course of the year. I think they've established a great roster. I think they have established a lot of TV time for different ladies. The problem is when a belt comes in, it's like it's a little too much dip on the chip. And right now, the biggest fascination is this tag team titles. And I am so fine with that. I'm cool that we have a tag team title picture. We have a division created. The issue is the division has every single woman on the roster with it. And when you do that, well, then you lack people to go against your singles championships. Let's not even talk about Mercedes for a second, Ben. Chris Statlander is the AEW Women's Champion, and she wasn't even on the main time slot during Dynamite this week when she has a title match versus Jamie Hayter at World's End. You know what I'm saying? Like, they haven't done a lot to have people interested in that. And then with Mercedes, yes, she should be feuding with people. There is a plethora of women on that roster that can have singles feuds with her. The last notable feud that she had was Harley Cameron, right? So for me, I do think it's lazy booking. I think the trope of just having, well, we have one women's segment, that's all we could do. We got to really cut that out, man. We got to cut that out. You got to allow her to be the star that she is and be on the television on a week-to-week basis. Have her feud with whoever, man, whether it be a Sky Blue, like Marina Shafir. I can name every woman on the roster if you wanted me to. Go ahead and go through that, and then eventually we'll get to that person that will beat her. I don't like champions doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs, and by the time it's time for them to lose the belt, they lose the belt. I've seen it way too many times this calendar year in North America for WWE, for AEW. We saw it with Io Sky too. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing it with Stephanie Vaquer right now. We saw it with Tiffany Stratton. Like, give these main champions meaningful feuds, and let's stop. Like, what? Where's the balance? Like, you either don't care about tag belts, North American, or you do care about them. And now, like, it's on Raw, it's on WWE and AEW. They put so much time into a tag division that they don't forgot about these upper belts in the singles division. So we got to fix it up. It's crazy.
And you addressed the issue, by the way, and it's an issue which I genuinely think AEW is way worse at than WWE, purely because WWE a lot of times does do 2 segments. But AEW, every single week, without fail almost, will just do 1 women's segment. Then, every month or 6 weeks, when there's a tweet which goes quite viral on Twitter criticizing that fact, that week they will book 2 women's segments. Then the week after, it will return to 1, and it's a repeatable cycle that happens over and over and over again. To your point, Shad, and it is very frustrating. Fernando says the TBS title has never had stories behind it. I mean, I don't agree with that. You are right, Jade didn't have many stories, or when she did, they were very short ones. But I wouldn't say that about everybody.
Jade okay, so there wasn't stories, right? But Jade was a fighting champion. She defended, whether you call them squash matches or not, that's the merit of her being a champion. She's a dominant champion. It's the Goldberg effect.
Yeah.
Week by week, throw her an indie person, an ROH person, a woman on the roster, she gonna knock them out the park. Is done. And that's Mercedes. The difference is you can do that, not in a squash way. Mercedes' whole thing is she's a workhorse. Like she wants to wrestle people and do that, and she's cocky about it. So, like, the thing is, they got her like Floyd, like they're trying to treat her like not Floyd Mayweather, like Conor McGregor a little bit, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just cocky, talking all that type of stuff, but like there ain't a whole list of matches.
I feel like they did that with her for the first 25 weeks of the year.
It did. You're right.
I mean, she was constantly like not the TBS championship, but she was on TV doing something substantial every single week, whether it was her facing Tony Storm or something like that. She was always on AEW TV. She was always prominent. The belt was always there. Unlike the Death Riders, where you didn't see the AEW championship.
But before we get into another rant about the Death Riders, because we have done a lot of that this year as well, but there was a comment here from Donnie, which is fascinating, because he says that he wants hardcore AEW fans to be more willing to constructively criticize the product. When WWE sucks, he says so, and he's done so for 20 years. But when AEW does something stupid, you get called a hater. This is actually a really interesting point. I think we should talk at length about at a later date, because for Wrestling Republic, if I post a reel, for example, of Shad criticizing AEW and criticizing WWE, I assure you there will be more hate comments on the one where he said something negative about WWE. But at the same time, I mean, your tag partner in podcasting, Jimmy Coderas, when you look at his Twitter, he says something mildly negative about AEW, and his replies are flooded with haters. So, I mean, it is interesting. Maybe it's how the algorithm works or something, but I don't know if that's a fact. But again, when it comes to certain people, it does seem to be that way. But at Wrestling Republic, we get more hate the opposite way.
Yeah, man.
You can't make everyone happy.
Okay,
that's true.
I mean, my biggest, my reel that's done the most views was me criticizing Triple H, and I mean the comments blew up for that. So, I see both sides, but yeah, dog. I mean, if it sucks, I'm gonna tell you it sucks. You can be mad at me all you want. I don't care. I'm 46. You think I care about what some 15-year-old kid on the internet says? Get out of here.
Up next, guys, we have to talk about Randy Orton, because this man has been disappeared since, I think, October 2nd, 10 weeks to the day today. This man has just disappeared in thin air. He did pop up in Saudi Arabia last weekend, and he said that he'll be at the Royal Rumble, but where has he gone? Of course, Bronson Reed took him out, but Ant U, why haven't we been seeing him?
Man, because Randy's earned to be able to take time off, and I think with Randy's daughter getting a little bit older and his kids growing up, I feel like Triple H is doing something really good with the wrestlers that we don't give him enough credit for. People get to take time off when they want to. People get to be able to spend holidays with their kids, right? Like I think him being able to spend Thanksgiving and now Christmas with his family is a beautiful thing because these guys are on the road so much every year. So you give him this time. He's doing a tour over in Saudi Arabia right now. Like I said, if you saw his last Instagram post, he's telling people that tickets are still available for the Royal Rumble and that he's going to be there Friday night for SmackDown in Riyadh. And he was at the Grove doing an appearance. So, like, he doesn't need to be in the ring every single week. He can be an ambassador for the WWE. And then when he does show up, it's going to be like people like him, like when he shows up and they start singing his song when he comes down, you're going to feel great when he comes back. So I'm okay with Randy Orton not being on TV every week. Do I want to see him? Of course. But I'm okay with him having the time off, being able to spend time with his family, being able to do stuff like that, and be an ambassador for the WWE. But when he does come back, I foresee Gunther setting his sights on him. I mean, all these older wrestlers that are about to leave out, I believe that the best heel in the business right now, the man who made little kids cry, the man who sat here and has just caused the entire internet to lose it, Darren General Gunther is going to set his sights on all these old wrestlers. Ben, he's going to do you a favor. He's going to take all these old wrestlers out and you're not going to have to look at them anymore.
Get in! That's my man, Gunther! No, but in all seriousness, Ant U, from a non-kayfabe perspective, I think you're bang on. I think that is the exact reason why he's been gone. But from a kayfabe perspective, I think the reason that Randy Orton has been off TV for the last couple of months is because this man has been too busy beating up Jacob Fatu. I think he is the one who took out Jacob Fatu. I predict that he is going to return to SmackDown on the first episode in January, and he is going to take out Cody Rhodes after he retains the title against Drew McIntyre. And I think at the Royal Rumble, it is going to be a babyface Cody Rhodes against a heel Randy Orton. And then at WrestleMania in a non-title match, because I don't think Orton is winning, unfortunately, I do believe it is going to be Orton and Jacob Fatu, and that is what they're building to. I think that is the story they're telling, because Bronson Reed took him out, and I really don't see a world where he comes back and goes after the Vision on Monday Night Raw. I just don't.
I don't see Randy being the one to take Jacob out. I think you're reading a little bit too much into that. Like, they're not going to do that to Randy. I feel I don't. Where's the payoff in that? Because you have someone so loved like Jacob Fatu, you have someone so loved like Randy. You don't have Randy take him out. It doesn't give you the effect you're looking for, because it doesn't matter what Randy does. Nobody's going to hate him. It doesn't matter.
I disagree. If they do it well enough against Jacob Fatu, I agree. Now, the Cody match is where I'd have a little bit more worries or whatever, but I reckon they can do it. I really do. Who do you think, though, very quickly, did take out Jacob Fatu then, Ant?
Drew McIntyre. I think Drew is just being a menace and going through and taking everybody out. I think WWE's just going to, they're going to give us the easy answer. I wish there was more depth to it. But it's going to be the easy answer. It's going to be Solo or something silly like that. It's going to be the easy answer, though. It's the one we're not looking for. You know what I mean? Like, just we all knew.
Promised though, and he said at the time, and he is right. You can say many things about him. He is not a hypocrite. He does not lie, and he promised it wasn't him. That's why I really don't think it's true.
I don't know. Hopefully it was Cody.
I'd love that. I just really don't think it is. But guys, up next, we need to do our next Mount Rushmore because, like I said at the start of the show, it's National Underdogs Day. Unfortunately, Zach Minger kind of ruined my bit by not being in the comments today, but it is National Underdogs Day, so without further ado, this is a Mount Rushmore of the best underdogs in the history of professional wrestling, and I'll kick us off with one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Rey Mysterio. What about you, Shad?
I am going with the ultimate underdog, the guy who had pro wrestling at the palm of their hands, chanting, yes, 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 yes. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan.
Ooh, that's good.
Brilliant shout.
That's
Brilliant
good.
shout.
You stole mine. So I'm going to have to go with the Timu version of that. And the guy who had everyone after 11 years being in the WWE so excited for WrestleMania. Take it, beating your guy, Mr. Kofi Kingston.
A fantastic shout as well. Truly is. I'll quickly tell you, though, Shard, why I didn't pick Daniel Bryan first. Rey Mysterio's done it for longer. That is purely the reason. I don't know anybody
Ray
who's
was
been
definitely
present-
101 on my draft board for sure.
Oh, okay. Fair enough then. Up next, Ant U, it is back to you.
Ooh, okay, since we're coming back to me, another underdog who liked to lie and cheat and steal and get some good wins in. I got to go with your guy, Eddie Guerrero.
A great shout. I mean, as an underdog, I'm a little bit surprised, but you are right. Even though he was a heel for a lot of his run, he still kind of was an underdog. And I mean, that moment when he won the title as well.
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It truly was. Shard, what's your next pick?
My next pick is somebody that is just defies entertainment, man. He was probably everyone's favorite wrestler, and through all the trials and tribulations in life, man, he's done so much greatness, and that is my guy, Jeff Hardy.
Ooh, great shout. A great shout. Up next, I'm going to take the guy who I thought you were introducing for a second, Shard. I'm going to take Mick Foley. Because this guy, I mean, we all know it. When he finally won the big one, he won the big one. So that is my pick in at number 2. In at number 3, I'm going to go... It's a little bit tough here, but I'm going to go for the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Nice.
That is my next one. But Shard, what about you? Who are you taking?
Oh man. Oh, the 1, 2, 3 kid. Oh man, that's an incredible pick right there. Ah, shoot. I didn't think you was gonna take him. He was on my draft board as well. You know what? I see him in the comments, and I cannot go without picking him, man, because to me, he is still underdog at this time of day until he wins his world championship. Let me get my baby boy who shares the same name as him, his favorite wrestler, Sami Zayn.
That's
a great shout. The comments won't like it, but I do. Sami Zayn, to me, is still one of the biggest underdogs in professional wrestling.
Wholeheartedly.
What about you, Ant U?
Okay, gonna take you guys back on this one, man. He's the only person to win a WWE match with one leg. Give me Mr. Zach Gowen.
I was hoping to get him. Fantastic, fantastic shout. Brilliant one. What is your 4th?
All right, my final one. Man, I really thought hard about this, and you taking Mick Foley from me hurt. So my ECW fave, Mr. Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, I did not see that one coming.
Yeah.
That is a surprise on you, but I respect it. Look, you can absolutely argue that. Shad, what is your final pick?
I am picking a woman that I believe is still underappreciated. I had our reel going crazy about her the other day, but I want to take y'all back to the black and gold era. A woman who, out of the 4 women she came up with, a lot of people just gravitated to. You might want to give her a hug. Let me get Bailey.
I so wanted her. I'm really annoyed that both of you guys took my final pick. So instead, I'm going to go for a man who famously had a very, very, very long losing streak, Barry Horowitz. We can't leave him off this list because I mean the guy was literally the ultimate underdog. He's got to be drafted in some capacity on here. But there we have it, guys. Mount Rushmore. Who do you think had the best one? Mikey Whipwreck says Fernando Zayas. That is an interesting shout as well. We got Mary saying Sami Zayn as well. We got Hypno Jeans saying that Barry Horowitz as well. And Donnie says, aside from Ray, Mick is the greatest underdog ever. I mean, there we are. And Donnie also showing some appreciation to Dreamer and also Spike Dudley. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't say Spike Dudley, considering the amount you mentioned him on this show. And
I was waiting to see if someone was going to take. I was waiting to see if someone was going to take Darby Allin. And if someone took Darby Allin, then yeah, Spike Dudley was definitely coming out. But nah, man. Like I said, it was a tough one. But I think like if you look at ECW, there was no one who was the backbone of ECW more than Tommy Dreamer. And he just went out there and put on great matches and, lost a bunch of heavyweight championships. But like when you think ECW, I think Tommy Dreamer.
There we have it. I mean, he definitely is a good one. And Donnie's saying Barry was just a straight up jobber. He ended up winning a few matches. He did, including, and I can't remember the year, but he won a match at SummerSlam. I'm certain of it. Anybody?
Was it against Hercules?
I don't know, bro.
Did he beat Hercules when Hercules had
you? That's kind
How
of
do you
Bravo.
guys not know this?
Isn't it Barry Horowitz?
Barry
Skip.
Horowitz?
You don't remember Barry Horowitz used to
SummerSlam 1995.
He had the jacket with the handprint on the back. Dog, that's where Tommaso Ciampa does it from.
Man, come on. I was young.
I was minus 7 years old, and I knew about this.
I don't look, man. I'm not no historian. I don't like history. If I didn't see it, it never happened, bro.
Fair enough on that one. But that does, guys, bring us to the end of what has been a really fun show. Thank you to everybody in the comments. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, Ant U. Thank you, Shad, for joining me here today. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Ba, 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 be.